March 15th, all-provider webinar for problem gambling services. We have a pretty, not a very full agenda today, so we might get done a little early, so you might be excited to hear about that. Just so you know, you are all administratively muted, and we are recording this webinar. We will unmute you potentially when we have question time. Since there's just only a few of us on the call today, we might be able to unmute all of us during the question time, so then you could ask questions directly to our presenters today. So I do ask that you *6 your phones or mute your headsets if you aren't planning on speaking, just so that when I do unmute you, we won't have a lot of background noise. If we do get a lot of background noise, then I'm not going to be able to unmute everybody, and we'll have to just resort to using the chat box or the question box. So you can ask questions in that box, and I will pull those up and read those to the presenters for them to answer. So you may see on, if you're new to the GoToMeeting technology, you will see probably a display box, a GoToMeeting box on the right-hand side of your screen. You can move that out of the way so it's not blocking your view of our slide presentation by clicking on the orange arrow button, and then you can reopen it by clicking on the orange arrow button if you want to ask a question or chat. So our agenda for today is we're going to do welcomes, which is what we're doing right now. For you that are new to the GoToWebinar, we don't do attendance. I do get a list from the technology that tells me who is participating, so I know who's on the call and can provide with CEUs at the end of this call. So we're going to start with the Oregon Lottery updates, which actually this agenda isn't really accurate because it won't be presented by Stacy Shaw from the lottery. It's going to be presented by Crystal Smith and also Thais Ruddick. So then we're going to have Tom Moore from the Oregon Council on Problem Gambling present on the new web page that they've designed and developed. And then we're going to do state updates at the end. So we're kind of mixing up the structure than how it usually is, but we have our presenters ready to go. So we thought that we would start with them so that they can either stay on the line or get off the webinar when they are done presenting. So after each presentation, we will take questions, and then we'll take questions at the end if you want, however you want to wait or hold your questions. So just so you know, at the end of this webinar, the PowerPoint and any accompanying documents that we talk about and your CEU certificate will be emailed to you later this week or early next week. So I am going to turn it over to Crystal. So are you there, Crystal?
I am. Hello? Can you hear me?
Excellent. I can hear you.
Yay.
So yes. So I don't know if Thais is there, but if you could introduce yourself and let the our participants and providers know your new role and what you're doing at the Oregon Lottery, that would be really great.
Sure, not a problem. And hello, everyone. Thais and I are really excited to be back again today and sharing updates with all of you. Again, my name is Crystal Smith, and I'm the Associate Program Manager for the Oregon Lottery, our program management department. And for my role, I am responsible for basically the problem and responsible gambling programs moving forward. So you'll see a lot from me if I have any questions as far as things you're doing out in the field. And if you have any questions for me, don't hesitate to reach out at any time.
Yes, and I'm Thais Ruddick. My new role is Program Marketing Manager, and I will be working closely with all of our beneficiaries, so all of the agencies and programs that receive lottery funds, and how we can better integrate our communication messages and help amplify to Oregonians of the different things that lottery dollars help fund.
Great. Next slide. So for me today, I'm going to give you just a brief advertising update on our Responsible Gambling television program. And some of you may have seen this advertisement already on television, but just to set things up a little bit, instead of the normal way in the past, we have been presenting our message of play responsibly with like set a time limit, stick to a budget. We're now really determined to show real life scenarios to show the evolution of playing responsibly. So what we're really trying to do more with the RG message is to show players that we do have tools available to them and how they can use those tools to make informed choices about their gambling. So let's just go ahead and take a look at the spot. If Greta, if you can play that.
Jane likes to track things. She has a calorie calculator, a step counter, a heart rate monitor.
Helps me make decisions I feel good about.
And here, where are all your trackers now, Jane?
Don't need them. I use the clock to track my time and display my money as dollars, so I don't overspend.
Hadn't thought of that. What are you tracking now, Jane?
Nothing. I'm cashing out so I can get more steps. 10,001?
Okay, I did not see that coming.
Lottery games are based on chance and should be played for entertainment only.
Again, this spot was really a big departure for us since we've usually said in the past to set a time limit, stick to a budget. Now we're actually showing it. So we're really excited about the evolution of our television advertising for responsible and problem gambling. I'm going to turn it over to Thais, and she's going to talk a little bit about video lottery advertising, multicultural spots, as well as some media schedule and analytics for the remainder of the year.
Thanks, Crystal. So if we could go to the next slide, please. We have started our video lottery advertising campaign at the end of February, the last week. And what we did is for this campaign, we created the spots in the same family. So as you see the product advertising video lottery, and the new features, we also have a responsible gambling version that's very close to it, that emphasizes the responsible gambling practices as they pertain to video lottery. So if you could please play the first one, which is the product advertising. You may have seen these commercials on TV. They're running pretty heavily currently.
How you doing? How am I doing? Well, I'm with my wingman and my wingwoman. We haven't looked at our phones in almost an hour. We have some fried cheese-filled snacks on the way. We're gonna play some video lottery, and even if we don't win, the lottery does good things, so it's all good. Okay then. I'll check on those jalapeno poppers. Oh, nice. Video lottery makes fun more fun.
Lottery games are based on chance and should be played for entertainment only, not investment purposes.
So if you see, before we go to the next one, that spot was it introduces video lottery as just a part of a night out. So it's not the main hero, it's not the main thing. It's mostly focusing on the interaction with friends and what they're doing out and about. So it doesn't overemphasize video lottery. It's just one thing to do while you're out and about. And then let's take a look at the responsible gambling version, which features the same actors from the first spot.
You guys good?
We're awesome. We just won trivia night without using our smartphones, which means these taquitos are on the house.
So they are.
After we eat these not so tiny tacos, we're gonna play video lottery. And to keep it awesome, I'm gonna set a time limit and stick to a budget.
I like your style.
Thank you so much. First place. Video lottery makes fun more fun.
Lottery games are based on chance and should be played for entertainment only, not investment purposes.
So both of those spots are running right now with the campaign, and then we'll move forward to the next slide to update what we've done with our problem gambling sign spot. So this is part of the family that we started this campaign about April of last year with the 15-second shorter spots that are kinetic type. One of the most recent one that we did in January focused on the problem gambler's perspective that when they gamble, they're not just hurting themselves, but they're also hurting their family and loved ones. So this was the one that we thought was the best one to first transcreate and translate into Spanish to start airing. It has a really strong message of family and community. And we thought that would be a good one to start with running on Univision and other Spanish language television statewide. So if we could, and I apologize, there's no subtitles under it, but it's very similar message to the English version of this spot. So if we could play this one next, please.
Creía que mientras no lastimaba a nadie más que a mí, no tenía por qué parar. Enfrentar que mi adicción a las apuestas lastimaba a mi familia fue difícil, pero me hizo buscar ayuda.
So one of the nuances in the spot, if you notice, is that the phone number first appears as the two values as the mnemonic device, and then it slowly translates into the digits so that folks can see that it is a way to remember the phone number, but also for those that may not be familiar with this technique of creating mnemonic devices, the digits are actually displayed. So the phone number is easily accessible and is a phone number that directly gets answered in Spanish. So let's move on to the media schedule. As you can see, Crystal, the first spot with Tracker is running in conjunction with our problem gambling spot. So RG and PG are running in the same weeks. And then in March, we have a very heavy rotation for our problem gambling spots. We're on every single week for the month of March and have been with it preceding the last week of February and following the first week of April. So continuity of 6 weeks on air with our problem gambling spots, and then intermittently with the responsible gambling at the middle of the month and at the first of the month. So we'll move on to the our regular opgr.org updates, and as you will see, our numbers are pretty consistent for overall between January and February. One thing that I do want to call out is we're seeing increasingly declining numbers for our Facebook ads, and we believe the reason for that is our creative is a bit stale. We haven't refreshed it for a couple years, and we are in the process of doing so, of refreshing it and making it more dynamic, so that hopefully we'll see a jump back on those numbers. And it's good timing because since January of this year, we have transferred our advertising. When people click through on our Facebook ads, they're being directed to the OPGR Facebook page as opposed to the lottery. And the OPGR is who is sponsoring the ads. So it's a more natural fit, and hopefully we'll see an increased number of hits and visits to the OPGR Facebook page, which is a good thing. Next slide is our Spanish efforts, and we've seen we worked with our agency and saw an increase in the number of Google SEM, search engine ads in February, which is good. So hopefully we'll continue on that trend on the next month as well. And then the last one is with Gam Talk, and we saw a bit in February to look at the Google SEM. And we're going to work closely with them to kind of try to understand why that might have been. So with that, I'm going to transfer it back to Crystal, and she will update us on some efforts that we're doing now here in March.
Great, thanks Thais, great update. So to finish up our updates, I just want to give you all a update on what we're doing for this month, for Problem Gambling Awareness Month. And if you look at the first bullet, we're really working together, and we have the last couple of years on a joint press release with OHA, a governor's proclamation. So not a press release, but a proclamation. So that's real positive step as far as our collaboration. We also had here the joint press release, which went out on March 1st, and that was also a collaborative effort as well with OHA. You'll see if you're out on our Twitter account or OPGR's Twitter account, or there are tweets throughout the month, the 31 days of the month, so different tweets every day or multiple times each day. And for here at the Oregon Lottery, we have weekly Problem Gambling Awareness Month topics and articles that show up on our employee intranet or our SharePoint site. So we do that either daily or weekly during the month of March. And also, all of our employees are provided with have the conversation wristband. We've done it the last couple of years in a row. It's been pretty positive, and you'll see a picture of a couple of our staff sporting the bands below. And I'm wearing mine right now. You can't see it, but me and Thais are wearing ours as well. So it's a kind of fun thing to get our staff involved. And but really, so for us, Problem Gambling Month is not just the month of March. We actually promote problem gambling all year long. So it's fun to kind of just ramp up our efforts in March, other than the things that we do throughout the month. So if we go to the next slide, And I'll just talk a little bit about that first bullet, which for us it's really important for us to share this because the lottery conducted some focus groups recently with some problem gamblers, and they were players of lottery games, and we really wanted to find out from them what kind of messaging would be helpful when considering making changes or choices about their gambling, and where we should be promoting materials for them to see and communicating, that they're effective and that there's treatment out there for them and resources available. So the outcome was that we wanted to see more messaging at the retail level. And based on that great news, our lottery field staff worked really close with our retailers who then voluntarily agreed to post new support pieces at about 699 new locations statewide. So we really love that our retailers are embracing that it's a shared responsibility to help make those affected by gambling know that resources are really available. So you'll see I provided a couple, 3 visuals of some of those new problem gambling materials being placed out in the field starting this month, of course, with Problem Gambling Awareness Month. And hopefully there's no offense taken to anyone that I've shared a visual of our new water closet material placement. And no, I did not actually take the picture in the urinal, in case inquiring minds may have been wondering. But these are really places where we felt that materials could be effective and people would see them. So I'm going to move on to the broadcast media. Thais really basically shared with you that yes, we have a heavier than normal schedule throughout the month of March. And we're basically on every day of every week of the month. You'll see some type of responsible problem gambling ad in English or Spanish on the radio, and perhaps out in outdoor as well on our buses and also in our mass transit. We have some advertising in our MAX trains. So for me, I think that's it. If you have any questions, go ahead and ask away. If not, we'll move on with the last segment for us, and that's Tom Moore talking about the OPGR website and the new resource guide.
So, Crystal, this is Greta. I have a few questions. Would you like to share a little bit about your new branding with your new logo and your new just the new branding and why you went that direction? And also, I just wanted to share that, and you can feed off of this, that OHA and a few of our providers about 2 years ago did a panel presentation to the lottery field staff, those that are working in directly with our retailers in the communities, and that presentation was really well received, and the lottery is setting up for us to do another panel presentation in April, and I can't remember to which group that presentation is going to be presented to. So if you could just fill that in and then talk about your branding, that would be appreciated.
Yeah, so on April 24th, we have that panel presentation. We're calling it an annual meeting, and so it's for basically all of our staff, similar to what you did last time. There will be field staff there, and there will be full-time and part-time lottery staff who will also be there as well to hear the message. So we're really excited about that because we're branching out and including all of the lottery for that day, that annual meeting day. So again, thanks so much for doing that. That was really well received last time.
I'll address Greta, this is Thais. I'll address the branding. So our logo was fairly old, was over 20 years old, and we wanted to update and refresh. And we thought that, including the Oregon map was really important because it's what the lottery helps, lottery dollars help fund programs and things throughout the state. It also was really important for us to change the message of it does good things. It's hard to relate. It's hard for people to understand that they play a critical role in what we do. Players do, our partners do, our retailers do, and we wouldn't exist if people didn't play, didn't believe, didn't sell our products, didn't benefit from our funds. So that's where the together was incorporated. So it's together we do good things. It's not, we don't take the credit. It's a humble approach and much more inclusive and collaborative. So that's the reason for the rebranding. We have a new TV spot that talks about all the different things that we fund, and it's the first time ever really that we made the connection between when you play, you help fund these things. So you have a part in it. It's not, it couldn't happen without each and everyone's playing our games and participating in the lottery. And it was created, was voted by Oregonians, was created for Oregonians by Oregonians.
And yeah, and our Oregonians count on us to provide funding to the state programs that they really care about. So that was kind of the reason why we wanted to just change that and make it pretty simple and get that message across.
Great, thank you for sharing. So I did have a question from one of our participants, and they asked, is there anything that is there any way that we can get a list of the local retailers that volunteered to place problem gambling support materials within their facilities? They feel that this would be a great opportunity to create a press release at a local level. So of those voluntary 699 locations, is there a way that our providers could know who volunteered to do that?
Absolutely. We have that list and we could send that. Should we send it to you, Greta?
Yes, please send that to us and we will put it on our Oregon PGS webpage and get it out to our providers that are interested.
Yeah, that's no problem. We'll definitely get that out. It'll be a spreadsheet that I'll send out to you.
Thank you. Perfect. That will be an awesome opportunity to appreciate the retailers in our local communities.
That's a great idea.
Thank you, Claire. All right, that is all the questions that have come in thus far. If people think of any questions later, I can always email those to you guys and get a response. Otherwise, you can stay on the webinar or you can leave. I know you might sit through Tom's presentation, but do feel free to get off the webinar at any point that you need to.
Sounds great. Thanks so much for your help.
Thank you to both of you for your updates and sharing, and it's so nice to hear how much effort you're putting into problem gambling awareness with the staff at the Oregon Lottery and how receptive they are being to that, and just the pride that they take in the work that they do and the knowledge that they have.
Oh, thank you. We're excited too. Thanks for having us. Have a good day.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Tom, you are up next.
All righty. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Oh, good. Okay. Because my screen's telling me to put my auto pin back in, so I'm not going to do that. I just want to kind of start out and echo, Greta, what you were saying about the wonderful situation we have here in Oregon with the partnership between the health authority, the council, and the Oregon Lottery, and under the health authority, all the contractors like the helpline and voices and all those that are sitting at the table. It's unheard of nationally to have such a great working relationship and an avenue to disagree with each other and to agree to disagree. So one of the products that's come out of that is a booklet. And what we found is that when we all sat down at the table, it was very obvious, and you can go to the next slide, please. It was very obvious that there were a lot of different numbers and different perspectives and all that kind of stuff being tossed around at hearings and with the media and all of that. So what emerged from that was the kind of the agreed desire to come up with a gambling resource guidebook. And the idea behind that is to put the numbers and what we know about what's going on in Oregon in a place and in a document that we can all refer to and we can refer other people to. And this document is on the council's website. So the document, next slide, please. The document it really addresses about everything that you really ever wanted to know about gambling in Oregon. And what we wanted to do was we all felt that at least having a brief history of all the milestones of gambling in Oregon available to folks so that we could look at the progression, look at what's happened, and have a reference to that, especially when we're talking with policymakers and with other interested people and with the media. The booklet also goes into all of our findings that we have from our most recent prevalence studies. Next slide, please. Um, so that's a synopsis of the stuff that we have out of the adult studies and stuff that we've come out of the evaluation for the gambling program. So it's kind of a one-stop center, and it's put the efforts, and thanks again to the lottery for all their artistic and editorial skills, put in a meaningful format, much easier to comprehend than my writings, if anyone's read any of my reports. So again, so that we know what's there, and it's all, we're playing off the same sheet. Next slide, please. So what you can see is this talks about all the salient points of gambling, who's gambling, what kind of games are gambling, how much they're gambling, and that kind of information. It's a very interesting document. Next slide, please. And that leads us to the website. And again, the document can be downloaded. And we were going to go through the website, but decided better than trying to pass the controls around. The website is Oregon CPG, so that's Oregon for the Oregon Council on Problem Gambling, OregonCPG.org. What we have done, and again with a lot of resources from the experts at the lottery and building websites, we've moved to a much cleaner website. We don't want to be the end-all for websites on gambling. We didn't want to compete with the lottery, with Oregon Health Authority's websites, or with the prevention folks' website. What we wanted to do is really kind of blend in with that. So when you go to the website, the main page has our mission, and then sections about the organization and a link to the gambling and problem gambling booklet where you can download that. And then down at the bottom of that page, it has media resources. A lot of the ads that have been put out around responsible gambling and how to get hope and that kind of stuff are available on the website. So if you want to have that and you can't find it, just go to the website. It's got some of the great old ones like Bowling Night and There Is Hope, and some of the ones that some of the old folks have been around for a few years are more familiar with. It talks about mission and goals of the Oregon Council. So if you have any questions about who we are and what we are, you can certainly see that. And again, the Oregon Council we're affiliate with the National Council, but we're much different than nearly all of the other councils because we have such a great partnership in Oregon. Other councils they provide treatment, they do all kinds of stuff, and if we were going to do that, we would be competing with the Oregon Health Authority and the helpline and stuff like that. So our mission is quite a bit different than that. And then it has what our shared responsibilities are, our mission and goals, and then a list of our board members. So if you want to know who's on the board, you can certainly go there and discover that. The second section is primarily from the booklet. It has a brief history, who's gambling, all of the prevalence rates, and the Oregon investment in treatment and prevention information. So again, if you want to do a presentation to the local legislators or to one of the professional organizations or volunteer organizations, something like that, you can go to this website and really either pull the booklet down or just go to the website and get the information from that. And both the website and the document are going to be what we kind of refer to as living documents. So these will be periodically updated. So if you have any comments or questions about the website, please let me know. Excuse me. And then the third major section deals with research and resources, and it has what we call some useful definitions, and what we've tried to do with those useful definitions is incorporate sort of the movement of where we are now around what's problem gambling, what's disordered gambling, and some of the other terms have been used around disordered gambling, and also the definition of what we of responsible gambling. A lot of times there's confusion around that definition. So these are helpful to kind of standardize what we're talking about. I know some people may disagree with some of the definitions around the clinical. The clinical definition, we refer to the DSM-5 9-point criteria as the standard, and address some of the other terms that have been used, like compulsive gambling and gambling addiction and that kind of stuff. Under the problem gambling resources, it's a great little section there. There's the resources for consumers and resources for professionals. So there's it's not it's a what I consider to be a useful list. Instead of anything that's just it goes on and on and on. So we are going to be keeping that updated and monitored for quality also. And then the final section on the website is the most important research that's gone on in Oregon. So if there's questions about previous research and those findings and stuff like that, you can go to the website and you can pull that up. So it's a pretty concise website. It's been built for multiple platforms, so you can use it on your computer. You can use it on your access it pretty cleanly on your cell phones too. Again, if you have any comments about the website, please let me know, or questions about it, or any problems about it. And that's the summary, Greta. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. So just to reiterate a little bit of what Tom said about the booklet, and it was created to be a concise, very short public read. Most of the documents that we have, the annual evaluation report of our system, is more of a technical document and not very easy to distribute to the layperson and have them really understand our system. And it's not a quick and easy read. So the purpose of this booklet there's many purposes of this booklet. One was to ensure that the correct information and data was out there when you guys, our providers, pick that information up, that we have some consistent messaging, and also to create a document that we could easily provide to a stakeholder, a legislator, someone from a different state who is interested in our system, for them to understand where Oregon is, where we've been, and where we're going, and just information about our system in general. So it was made as a public document, which we don't often make in our office, and a very quick and easy read. So like Tom said, we see this booklet as a living document on the Oregon Council webpage. So we are not printing this booklet and distributing it to you. It's not available through our materials request. You can download it from the Oregon Council website, and if you are interested or have a need to print your own copies because you're doing something in your community that you think this booklet would be useful for, I'm sure that we could provide you with the actual document in the print size that it actually is, because it's a small booklet, but when you download it, it will look a little wonkier because it will be a full-size booklet that would need to be cut. So if you want to print these and send it to a print shop, we can definitely work with the Oregon Lottery to provide that to you in the right dimensions or the right formatting, so you can do that. So it is for you to distribute and use as you need, and just know that I would never print too many of these booklets if you choose to go that route, just because, like we mentioned, it will be a living document, and we will update it periodically with more current information, specifically around what we gather from those that we treat in our treatment system. So I think that's all I was going to say. Is there any questions, or do you have anything else to add, Tom?
No, I don't. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. So please do check out the new council's webpage. It is a great resource of all the different prevalence studies and research that the state system has done in the past, and it has a lot of valuable information in a very clean, easy to maneuver format. So we're happy that it's finally up and live, and to share that with you guys today. Okay, I did not receive any questions from our participants, so thank you, Tom, for that presentation and that walkthrough, and I will move forward with our next stuff, which is just general state updates. So I wanted to let you guys know that after a very long process of trying to accrue a new position within our team here at Problem Gambling Services, we recruited and we have hired and made an offer to fill the Problem Gambling Treatment and Recovery Specialist position. We have selected David Corse. David is currently the co-occurring disorder and addictions program manager and the mental health clinic supervisor at Lincoln County Health and Human Services. Prior to Lincoln County, David was also the program manager and a gambling clinician at Volunteers of America in Portland. So David brings a vast amount of experience in the problem gambling treatment system here to us at the state. He was a gambling clinician, and he also has experience working on Lines for Life. So he has that. He also brings that experience of working with a helpline, and so we're really excited to have him join our team. We're really excited to have this position and this position now filled, and we're excited that we got it all taken care of before anything crashed down on us like a hiring freeze or something else. So we're excited he's going to come on board, and his start date will be April 17th. So a more formal announcement will be sent out to our system in the next coming weeks, closer to his start date. So we hope that he's ready to make a huge, big difference here at the state, because we are so excited to have this position like this, and him coming on board and getting to work on that fabulous 5-year work plan that we have to implement. So moving on, I wanted to just make a general announcement about the Focus on the Future conference. Don't forget that early bird registration ends, I believe, sometime in April. I don't have the specific dates, but please register as soon as possible so that you can get the discounted rate that is offered to Oregon providers. I do know that off the top of my head that April 1st is the deadline to receive the discounted lodging price at the Heathman Lodge. So please do make your reservations there so you can get that discount if you're planning on staying there. So please check out their webpage. It talks about, you can see the agenda and the different presenters on each day. And they have a very full and very experienced list of presenters coming in at the national level for their keynoting. They have brought in, I think, about 4 people who are known at the national level: John Grant, Mark Potenza, Tim Fung, and also Don Feeney. So there's some big names that are coming to this conference if you haven't had the opportunity to hear a lot of our national speakers and those experts at the national level and researchers at the national level. So it's a pretty exciting conference of big names, and hopefully also very good information. So just to tag team off of that conference, don't forget that we do have a conference subsidy form, so which is not the slide I'm talking about. So this is actually our discount rate. So there you go. Our discounted rate is in effect until April 1st. So please make sure that you can register by that time, and please use the discounted code of OHA to so that the Evergreen Council is alerted that you are Oregon provider and should receive that discount. I will also send an email out later next week as a reminder about this conference and how to register with the information that you see on the slide. The one slide that I am missing in this presentation, which I thought this was the slide, was there is a conference subsidy that we are offering. So if your agency doesn't cover all the costs of lodging, miles, and conference registration fees, the state is offering a subsidy. We aren't covering all of the costs, but a percentage of the cost to compensate for what isn't covered by your agency to help you get to this conference. So I will, at the end of this webinar, insert that slide into this presentation, and also that will be included in the reminder email that I send later next week. So I apologize for not having that slide available today. Just wanted to let you know that the next PGS All Provider webinar, if it's not already on your calendar, is June 21st from 9 to 10:30. You can register for that webinar at any time using the web page that's on this slide. During that call, the agenda is not put together yet, but during that webinar, we'll probably have another update from the Oregon Lottery and what they have going on. And then we'll also have some highlights on the progress that we're making on our 5-year plan and what we're planning on seeing happen next in the coming year. So don't forget that you don't have to rely on Roxana and myself to let you know when things are happening, when the next all provider meetings are, or your monthly treatment or prevention calls. You can always go to the Oregon PGS webpage at the website listed on the slide and open up our 2018 training calendar, which provides you with all the information of everything that we know, webinars, monthly calls, any trainings that we are putting on that we're aware of can be found on that training calendar, along with the logins for the calls and also the registration login sites too. So that is a really great resource. So you don't always have to just rely on us. You can go pick up that calendar and plug all of those dates that you're interested in into your calendar, at your work calendar now, so that if you're interested in attending, you can hold those times and make yourself available. I always promote this, but don't forget that we have free online trainings. I know that the title of these are called Problem Gambling Treatment Training for Clinicians and Supervisors. However, it's a breakdown of 8 different online modules that are about an hour in length each, and each one receives CEUs. So you can pick and choose which ones you want to attend and not attend. But these are great resources for our prevention providers who are looking for additional CEUs and information around problem gambling. Some of them are a little bit more treatment related. And if you go to the Lewis and Clark website, it will actually tell you which for each of these modules, which audience is the best audience. So it's listed out which ones would be more pertinent to the prevention coordinators in our field, which ones would be more pertinent to the general population versus our problem gambling providers versus our supervisors and program managers. So just always out there, free online trainings, promote these to your staff who are looking for CEUs. Excellent for cross-training of your staff to give them a little bit more information around problem gambling, and also excellent for prevention providers who want a little bit more information around problem gambling and to have just a bit more understanding of the treatment system and also what those clients that enter the treatment system may encounter. So always useful and helpful when doing your work. Also, we've come across some other online training options. Just wanted you to know that there's Iowa has a webinar series that you can attend. I think they're just live and not recorded, but if you go to the website, you can register for the ones you're interested in, and it'll tell you the dates and the times of those. Remember that their time zone is different, so when you put that on your calendar, be aware that it will not be the time that it says on their website, so you'll have to make adjustments for that. The same with Ohio. They also have some live webinars that they offer that you can attend, and they also have some home study courses that you can do on your own time. So I've listed out the different home study courses that are continuously available in case any of those topics interest you. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about the coordinated care organizations. I know that within our little system here, CCOs don't have the don't have a huge impact on us as we are a non-Medicaid funded system. But I do know that you guys as organizations do have interactions, and you are most likely CCO contractors for behavioral health services. So I wanted to just provide you a little bit information of what I've learned here at our office about some of the next steps regarding the CCOs. And I think it's always important for us to be informed of other things that are happening in the behavioral health system, even if they don't directly impact our problem gambling services program, so that we can still advocate for our services and figure out how do we best integrate ourselves into those services that are being provided. So this community coordinated care organizations have now been operating for slightly over 5 years. So they started back in 2012, and the goals of the first 5 years of the CCOs or the general goals were to save taxpayer dollars, to better care, improve care, to have quality measures improve, and improvements in primary care and prevention. So those are the things that they've been working on for the first 5 years, and have done a fairly good job of achieving. And now they're moving to the next phase of progress and goals, and they're calling this phase CCO 2.0. So if you hear that out in your agencies, you'll know what we're talking about. So CCO 2.0 has 4 goals. It's to maintain the sustainable cost growth, increase value and pay for performance, focus on social determinants of health and equity, and improve the behavioral health system. So I've bolded the improve the behavioral health system because this is going to be the area that the particular agency that I work in will be putting the most focus on. We'll be working on all 4 of the goals, but the improve the behavioral health system is the one that we are going to be most involved with. So we have been tasked with answering a lot of questions, like how do we measure integration? How can we encourage investment in behavioral health and still hold the CCOs accountable for these investments? How can we ensure that the system has the workforce to achieve the expected outcomes? How do we ensure that children receive comprehensive behavioral health services no matter where they live in Oregon? So those are some of the questions that need to be answered. And our office is going to be doing that by holding numerous different events. So I just wanted you to be aware of, there will be March 15th. There was which is today, there apparently is a CCO 2.0 kickoff webinar. I did not get any information about that to share with you, so I apologize that we're missing out on that. But I'm going to try to stay in the loop a little bit more, and I will be sending information out to you guys about these different activities around CCO 2.0. So the next step is that there's going to be an online survey. So I know that our problem gambling services may not specifically interact with CCO 2.0, but it's still important that we inform the system of the services that we provide, and we get our voice be heard about how we'd like to see the system set up, improvements that can make, because we have value in our voice, and you guys need to be making that heard to help us design any of the behavioral health systems, because you all work within the behavioral health system. So when I find out about this online survey, which they will be sending out to a lot of different stakeholder groups, I will make sure that I get a link to it and I send it out to you as our providers so that you can complete the survey. When I learn about when there's going to be public meetings in March through June, I will make sure that you're aware of where those are occurring so that you can attend and provide testimony if you so choose. I will stay informed to make sure that the draft recommendations that are going to be presented to the June Health Policy Board meeting you'll be informed of what those recommendations are, and then you can because you'll be informed of those recommendations, you can help with the policy recommendations that are around that through the online survey that they're going to conduct in June. And then I will let you know when and where the statewide roadshow meetings will be occurring. So if you so choose, you can attend and you can make sure that your area, specific areas of the behavioral health system are heard from. So I just wanted to give you that update. I know it's very brief. I hope you don't ask me very many questions about it, because honestly, what I presented to you today is about all I really know. I haven't been overly informed at this time about what it's all going to entail, but I'm going to promise you that I will stay as up to date as I can and ensure that you get all this information in case you want to act upon it. So next, I just wanted to once again let you guys know that we have this new helpline service that started back in July, so it's almost been up and running for about 9 months, and it's called a motivational text messaging program, and it is text messaging for gamblers, for family members of the gambler, available in English and Spanish. If you sign up for it, you choose which level of messaging you want, pre-contemplation, contemplation, and then like maintenance. So if you are a gambler and you're contemplating coming into treatment, maybe you would want the pre-contemplation messagings that might motivate you to then enter treatment. If you're in treatment, you'd want the second stage that's going to motivate you through treatment. And then if you're in the late stages of treatment or in recovery, you would want the third stage, which will help motivate you in your recovery. So, and the family member ones are a little bit different. What you do is you sign up by calling the helpline or chatting with the helpline, providing them with your telephone number that allows text messaging, and you will receive 1 to 2 texts a week for 3 months. So this is just another resource offered by our helpline that we've expanded to this current fiscal year. So please consider letting your clients know about this service, because those that have been in your services prior to June 2017 would not have heard about this new service. Those that call the helpline now always get told about this service. So if you have clients that didn't go through the helpline that entered your service, they may not know about it, and it may be a useful resource for them. So also consider signing up yourself so that you also know what kind of messages are coming out of this motivational text messaging program, so you can best promote it to your clients or to the community. And then just to reiterate a little bit of what Thais said a little bit earlier, when their Facebook ads in the past, she said currently they are not getting as much traction as they used to, so they're going to refresh them, which is exciting. In the past, you can only put Facebook page ads on Facebook if you had a Facebook account, and OPGR did not have a Facebook account. So all of the ads for problem gambling treatment services and resources was going, had the logo of the Oregon Lottery and was going to the Oregon Lottery page like she had said. So we felt it was really important that we develop an OPGR Facebook page so that our ads could be tied to our logo and send you to our website for services. So we did that. I think it started up in earlier this year, so January, and it gets refreshed with new information posted at least twice a month. And so we're just really thankful that we could add this service to our helpline services. It's run by Miranda at the helpline, who's one of our helpline operators, one of the people that you call when you call the help, that you get a hold of when you call the helpline. And we're just really excited that she had an interest in Facebook and was willing to take this on, because I think it's just another good way for us to advertise the services we have, and it's a better way to connect the ads that are on the web page to us as OPGR. So if you're a Facebook follower, friend this site and then interact with it. Okay, so I neglected to mention that today I am the only one from the state on the call because Roxanne got accepted to a leadership academy here at DHS OHA, and so she attends that academy twice a month, and sometimes those dates occur on our planned webinar schedule. So she is currently in her leadership academy. So it was a great opportunity that she got accepted and got to attend. So we're glad that she got to do that, and we miss her, but when great opportunities present themselves, you must take them. So I'm going to do her updates today. So first off, it's Problem Gambling Awareness Month. I'm sure you guys were all aware of that. So we are very excited here at OHA to announce that we had 22 county problem gambling prevention programs that applied to participate in our 2018-19 Community Readiness Assessment Project, which will assess their individual communities and leadership readiness to address problem gambling and awareness level of resources. So we had some additional funding from vacancies in our office, and because it's one-time funding, it's really hard to spend up money that should be allotted other places but not being used due to vacancies and other things like that. So we have to come up with ways to find short-term, time-limited projects that can be implemented. So we decided that it would be really great to do to allow our communities funding to do some community readiness assessments to determine where within their communities is the knowledge and awareness of problem gambling and the readiness to make change around that. And that would then impact the plans that our prevention coordinators submit to us biannually about around the work that they're doing. So it would help them with their planning process. So that's what the community readiness assessments are going to do this coming year. The communities will be doing interviews and gathering that data and then looking at that data, and then they'll put that data into place in their plans for the next biennium. So also, we have a specific grant with Montana State University, and they're helping us with positive community norm communication. And there's going to be tools that are going to be developed later this spring or next spring and rolled out. And so these will also crosswalk with the community readiness scores, and that should be really exciting how those two projects are intersecting together. So because we have 22 counties participating, we're also hoping that we can maybe get a view of readiness at the state level to let us know where we as a state are too. So it's a pretty exciting project that we're really looking forward to this coming year. So there's a prevention ethics training that's scheduled for March 26th, and there's still a few seats available. So if you are interested, you need to register by going to the website listed here. Otherwise, we won't know that you're attending, and I know that lunch is also going to be fried, so I need an accurate number count. So please don't just expect to show up. If you really need to get your prevention ethics CEUs, please register for that as soon as possible. So I talked a little bit about the Focus on the Future conference, but I wanted to also let the prevention providers know, and I know that they know this because Roxanne has sent out numerous emails about it, but we are hosting a prevention provider workshop on May 1st as part of the Focus on the Future conference from 1 to 5. So it's on one of the pre-conference days. This is a free workshop that is not associated directly with the Focus on the Future conference. So you don't register for it through the conference registration. It's a side event occurring at the site during the same time. So it has to be registered through the Eventbrite technology. So that website is listed there to register. So please, if you're planning on attending that, please do register, because we need to have a number count just so we can ensure that we have enough seating. Wanted to let you know that we're all out of our 2018 problem gambling awareness calendars. So a big thank you for all of you that have been distributing those into your community. It's great to know that the quantity that we order does get out into our communities, and so it's great to know that it's only early March and we have gotten those all out the door and into the hands of the people who want those. So we are currently in the process of our 2009 problem gambling awareness calendar artwork search, and so our prevention providers are out there gathering those submissions from their middle school students in their communities, and we'll be making decisions on the top 5 entries that they want to submit here to us at the state, and those submissions are due no later than April 16th to Roxanne. All right, so now I wanted to talk about some treatment updates. In past webinars and monthly calls with treatment program providers and prevention providers, we've talked about how we have some additional funds in our workforce development grant with the Oregon Council on Problem Gambling, and we would like to get some feedback on how to potentially use those funds. So we, it's kind of a twofold what we're asking of our providers, but we are wanting to know what kind of trainings and opportunities we need to make available with the extra funds, wanting to determine what type of opportunities should be ongoing to ensure that the grant that we have with the Council for Workforce Development is sufficient, or if we need to determine how to increase the funding allocation if there is more, if the current level of funding is not sufficient to cover the ongoing workforce development needs of our provider system. So the treatment side of our system currently has developed a workforce development treatment advisory committee, and they have been meeting for a couple of times and have designed a survey that can be completed to give us the information that we're looking for to come up with recommendations on the treatment side of our system. So I just wanted to make all the treatment providers aware that this survey will be coming out around March 20th, which is next week, and you'll have about 2 weeks to complete it. It's very important that you complete the survey because your feedback is very valuable, and it's going to lead these members of the Workforce Development Advisory Committee to the recommendations on what the future workforce development opportunities will be offered by the state. So those recommendations will go to the state. There's going to be about 40 questions on the survey. Some of them are just demographic, like questions, really easy and quick. So it should take you about 10 minutes to complete. It could take you a little bit more if you contemplate things a little bit more thoroughly, but just to prep you in advance before it comes out next week, be thinking about some of the things that are lacking in our system around topics that you need to be trained on, different people who train on that topic, and just things like that, what's missing from our system. So that this survey will be going out to all the program managers, clinical supervisors, problem gambling treatment administrators, and clinicians for feedback. We're also hoping to glean a little bit of information that we completed that we might be able to attain from the ACPA survey that was recently sent out and hopefully completed by many of our providers, to learn a little bit about what are the needs of the general behavioral health field around problem gambling too, because it would be really nice to get more people informed about problem gambling treatment, problem gambling awareness, and then potentially get more interaction and engagement of the larger behavioral health field to our conferences and have some more discussions around integration. Have that opportunity to do that. So just a heads up for that. And then, so this is on the treatment side, something that's happening in the near future. And the prevention side of our system will also be doing, I don't know exactly the process that they'll be doing, but they will also be looking at workforce development opportunities that are needed on the prevention side and making recommendations to the state on what they would like to see funds allocated for. So Roxanne's Prevention Advisory Committee will be tasked with taking the lead on that, and then, but the whole provider network will be, prevention network will be involved. So for the treatment providers, just wanted to let you know that we do have a call on April 4th, our monthly call, and so I will put agenda together in the near future and get that out to you along with the login instructions and call-in instructions. And once again, all this, these monthly calls can be found on the training calendar on the Oregon PGS website. And I've covered this numerous times, but these are the other training opportunities, webinars that we have available for 2018, the family therapy learning sessions and forums, the advanced families on problem gambling treatment discussions, the case training with Chris Anderson. So all of these provide you, those that attend with CEUs, and all of these are recorded and posted on the Oregon PGS webpage if you aren't able to attend live and you want to listen to them. Okay, so that was all of my state updates, and like I said, we got done a little bit early, but it is time for questions. So does anybody have any questions? I'm thinking about attempting to unmute all of you and letting you just speak. So, you know what? I don't even know if I can unmute all of you. Okay, so I'm unmuting. All right, I'm unmuting all of you, so just beware that unless you're muting yourself, I am unmuting you, allowing you to ask any questions, to share any thoughts, feelings, anything that you want to do before we close this webinar. Just give me a minute. Okay, I am not unmuting Nancy Martin because she was noisy. So Nancy, if you want to speak, you're just gonna need to mute yourself. All right, so I unmuted, I think, all of those that I could. Does anybody have any questions, any comments, anything they want to share that's happening great in their communities, anything they're doing for Problem Gambling Awareness Month that has happened, that was successful, that was impactful, anything that's going to be happening that you'd like to share with people and invite them to?
Hi, Greta. It's Rika down in Rosebrook.
Hi, Rika.
Hi. I missed you the other day. I do have a request. The gambling and problem gambling booklets.
Yes.
I really like to have some of those so I can use them for outreach.
So, like I mentioned, we did not actually print very many copies of those. So if you want to, if you looked it over and you like it and you like what it looks like, I would just encourage you to request through us either you can, you send it to a print shop that's local to you and pay with your problem gambling treatment or prevention funds to have some copies made. We're not distributing that. It's not available. We just didn't make a lot of copies because it's a living document that's always going to be kind of changing as we update it.
Right. Okay. Well, great. I will do that.
So sorry about that. Yeah. So just if you download it and it's not what your print shop wants to see, just let us know and we can get a version of whatever it is that they want in order to make a print for you, or copies for you.
Thanks, Greta.
So I just wanted to say that Claire has sent a comment in, and she says, as a prevention provider, I am looking for a generic 30-minute problem gambling radio spot for a local radio buy. Where would I find this? Do you have one or a script that I can record? So, Claire, could you talk a little bit more about what specifically you're looking for? Because you say a 30-minute radio spot. So what are kind of the things that you're looking for? Just because I'm interested in knowing to get a better idea so we can find you the resource you're looking for. And so it's because those on this call may actually have a resource for you already. So whenever you're ready, Claire, I've unmuted you so you can speak. Okay, so we'll wait. Okay, Julio, if you're there, let me look. I don't know. Let me check you out. Julio would like to share about an upcoming event that he's having at his facility. Okay, Julio. You can unmute yourself because you are currently muted, but you've muted yourself. And go ahead and talk about your event at Bridgeway. Okay. All right, so apparently, if you want to unmute yourself because you muted yourself, you need to press *6 again. So if you press *6 to mute yourself on your phone, press *6 again, and that will unmute you. Apparently, I think there's a few challenges that we're having because I know we don't usually let you guys speak and talk, but since there's just a few of us and there's time, I wanted to have a little bit more interaction. So *6 on your phone should unmute you. If you're on a headset, you should just be able to unmute yourself somehow, however your headset may work. I have a button on mine. So, Well, maybe this is just not as successful as I thought it was going to be. If you have information that you would like to share about upcoming events, please do send it my way and I can send it out to our provider system just to inform them, because I'm thinking that this whole muting thing isn't working out that great, or unmuting thing, I should say. So what I will do, unless I haven't received any more questions, but Claire, I will work on your question. Why don't you send me an email with a little bit more clarity about what you're looking for in your radio spot, and Roxanne and I will work on trying to see who might have some information that could be useful to you, or a script or something that they've done in the past. Because Julio is having trouble getting his audio to come through, so is David. So I'm thinking it's something on my end. Maybe because this is an administratively, you are administratively muted through this system, maybe I can't really release you all that well. So my bad for that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just going to say that Dee wanted just everyone to know that Bridgeway will be hosting an open house at their Broadway Commons in Salem from 11:30 to 2 on March 28th. So that is their outpatient facility, and they'll be hosting a presentation. I'm just pulling this off the top of my head, so I'm not going to have it totally accurate, but it's by Julie Hines, and she said, and she'll be presenting on the interaction of gaming and gambling together. I think I have that correct from something that I read. If you're interested in that or want more information, please just send me an email and I can send you the email blast that I received from Julio about that. Oh, and I'm sorry, it's not located at Bridgeway's outpatient facility. It's located at a coffee shop that's called Broadway Commons. Also, I wanted to mention that Roger Humble and David Course are doing the clinical supervision pre-conference workshop together at Focus on the Future. So that happens on Monday, April 30th. So if you are interested in that, please do register for that pre-conference workshop. It's a great opportunity to get some to bring your case studies, to bring your current active client situations, things that you've encountered, and get some perspective on how to address that situation. I hope I got that right, David. Also, I'm just reading these comments that are coming in. I wanted to let everyone know that I sent this out to those that I know may have been in the local area and also that may have peer mentors or are hoping to develop peer mentor services within their problem gambling services system. So I want to let you know that Voices on Problem Gambling Recovery is doing a recovery mentor training. So Voices is the agency that hosts the problem gambling peer recovery training that's been approved by the state. It's provided the lead trainer is Eric Martin, and you typically, Sharon Williams is also a co-trainer with him. I do not know those dates off the top of my head. They are in April. I think it is April 16th through 19th, but I'm gonna wait to see if David tells me. He doesn't know either. Okay, so if you're interested in the peer recovery training that's occurring in the Portland area in April, please let me know and I will send you the flyer that I have about that. And don't forget that with our new policy here at Problem Gambling Services, we did open up peer delivered services to be encountered for by any peer that has lived experience, whether that's in the mental health or addictions arena. Because we have so few problem gambling peer mentors and just problem gambling treatment clients in general to glean from. We know that peers make a huge impact within treatment systems, and within the system. So we wanted to open it up to allow our clients to have access to a peer who has a lived experience through the behavioral health system. And the only requirement is that the peer that you use, whether it's in mental health or addiction services, has to be certified, either a certified recovery mentor through ACBO or a peer specialist, certified peer specialist through the traditional health workers program. So that means they have taken approved mental health or addiction peer training. And then our hope is that if you're using a peer in the mental health or addiction arena, that for problem gambling clients, that you would send them to our problem gambling peer approved training. That does not mean that they're going to get certified, that they can become a certified problem gambling peer mentor, or what ACBO refers to as a GCRM. They will not get a completion of certificate from the course because they do not have the lived experience in gambling. They will get a participation certificate, and that's all that we're requiring on the behalf of our agency. They should already have been certified. They're just taking the training so that they can get the training to get some additional information around problem gambling, since that's not their area of actual lived experience. So those dates are actually April 16th, 17th, and 18th up at the ACBO office in Portland. So a portion of that training is in person, which is the 16th, 17th, and 18th, and then some of it is also, I believe, online. So thank you, David, for saying that. And actually, it's not at the ACPA office. This peer training will be offered at the office, which is VOA, the ENACT office of VOA. So that is also in the Portland area. So like I said, if you want more information on that training, because you have people in your community that you may want to send, please send me an email and I can send you the actual registration flyer and information. All right, so I think I covered everyone's announcements that have sent me some stuff over the questions thing. Thanks for bearing with me with the whole, I'm going to open up the audio, but then I can't sing. And So that is the end of the questions that I have. Thank you for sticking it out with me. And so we did get done a little bit early today. So once again, thank you for your participation today and all the great work that you do. Hope to hear from you all again in June, if not sooner. And actually, I hope to all see you at the Focus on the Future conference in April. And the one thing I did forget to mention about the conference that there will be an Oregon-specific breakfast for Oregon providers on Thursday, May 3rd. And so please plan, if you can, plan to attend that breakfast, because it's just an opportunity for us all to be in one place together here as Oregon providers and to interact and network. And we'll probably have some type of short presentation, but mostly I think it'll just be a great opportunity for you guys to have breakfast together, and for Roxanne and myself and David to just cruise around the room and have the opportunity to interact with you and talk about whatever it is that you guys want to talk about and ask us about. So keep that in mind, and I will send an email out to all of those that are registered for the conference about that breakfast later on in April. So thank you for your attendance today. Happy Problem Gambling Awareness Month, and take care and keep doing all the great work that you do on a regular basis. We will talk again soon. Bye.